Oh yeah, I think you know what this face means. We are back with Napoleon. This is a 2 versus 2 on my favorite battlefield, the pyramids. I love this map because it's super simple, but yet super complex. Because the sand dunes, they're almost like trenches where you can hide your troops, take cover from cannon fire or musket fire, and then if your timing is just right, you can rush them up here at the edge and fire down onto your enemy. So I love this map. I have some of my favorite battles on this battlefield. And that's what we got today. We got a great battle today. Now, this is part of a 2 versus 2 tournament that's like an in-house tournament for the 23rd Ohio. That is our War of Rights regiment. If you guys play War of Rights and you're looking to join a regiment, 23rd Ohio is a pretty awesome place to go. So there's a link down in the video description. We're always playing War of Rights. We're always playing other community games like this and Hell Let Loose. It's a lot of fun. Anyways, let's talk about the rules here. So it's max 4 skirmishers, max 5 cav, not including the general, and that's or max 2 artillery, no fix, no rockets, and that's about it. That's all the rules, so it's not too complex. Now, when we pick factions, I let them pick first, and then we pick, and then they pick, and then we pick. So you kind of alternate. They picked Russia and Prussia. We picked France and Great Britain. They let us have France and Great Britain, which I'm not going to complain, and I'm feeling pretty good about our faction selection here. Let's really quick look at the army comps. We'll start with my army. I'm bringing 4 voltigeurs. In the back, I have 5 units of Fusiliers of the Line. It's kind of the backbone of my army. And then over here, I have 2 of the Old Guard. This unit, I don't want to say too much, but this unit definitely shows up today. So get ready for some juicy Old Guard action. I know I need to think of other adjectives other than juicy. Then we got the General's Bodyguard or General Staff. Then we have the 5th Regiment of Hussars for Cav. I've got 1 more Lancer Cav unit, so nothing too special, but enough Cav to have a presence. I have 3 units of Swiss Foot. This is kind of like a reserve flank unit. And then I have 2 artillery, the 8-pounder foot artillery and the 12-pounder foot artillery. And that is my French army. Over here we have the British or the Great Britain. We have 4 units of rifles. By the way, this is keyboard operator. He's leading the British. He's got foot as his secondary line, so good. That's kind of like his backbone. And then he has the Foot Guard, his elite corps, his Coldstream Guard, and the 42nd Foot Black Watch. By the way, guys, have you ever wondered what's under that kilt? Now, I only say that because I've downloaded NTW3, and when you download the mod, it kind of messes with your camera controls, and you can see under the troops. So I'm just curious of like what's under here. Oh, it's just kilt underwear. Okay. Okay. Anyways, with great power comes great responsibility. He does have some fencibles, which is like a flanking throwaway unit. They're kind of like militia in a way. And then we have the 6-pounder horse. I think he has 2 of them. So he's got fast, light artillery. Then he's got his cav, 2 units of light dragoons, and 1 unit of general staff. Let's go ahead and check out the Russians now. So the Russians are bringing only 2 lights. He's bringing some Jaeger forces, which is kind of surprising. By seeing that, you would think, maybe he's going to be aggressive and not kind of skirmish too much. He's just going to get straight into the line battle. But he's bringing some Moscow musketeers, standard musketeers. I love Russia. They got some really good melee units here. He's got some lifeguard and more musketeers to end the line. And then he's got his general staff, and he's got some 12-pounder. I think he's got 2. See, 1 unit. Is he only bringing 1 artillery? Oh, this is why. He's going heavy with the cav. He's got the Chevaliers, Grand Chevaliers or whatever. He's got the Lifeguard horse. He's got another Chevaliers unit. And then he's bringing 2 units of, actually 1 unit of Hussars. And then 1 unit of Lifeguard Cossacks. So he's going extremely cav heavy. Let's go to the Prussians now so we can get this started. We'll do some slow motion here. The Prussians are bringing Hussars, some Freikorps, and some Lancers. That is his cav force. So, I mean, it's another, like, we're outnumbered with cav for sure. So we got to watch out for that. And then he's got like 6 units of musketeers. that are marching forward. He's got 2 units of 12-pounder foot. He's bringing some Jaegers to the battlefield. And he's also got some Prussian Fusiliers mixed in with the Jaegers. And then for his elite force, he's got some Foot Guard and some 8th Life Regiment. There we go. And he's bringing Count von... I can't pronounce it, but usually you don't see people bring generals, but we'll see how it works out. So I just played this battle today, so I'm going to go over every single decision I make here and try to cover our strategy, our strategy going into this one. So my strategy initially, like in every way, our strategy, whatever, we'll dive in. Okay, so my strategy here was to fight for this hill. I wanted to dominate here and take this hill. And then what I was going to do is not worry about necessarily killing all of the Prussians, but rather turning my guns and firing down at the Russians who are attacking my ally. Now, Keyboard is... he's really good, and I'm not going to say he's bad or anything, but he's new to the multiplayer scene, so I tried to help him out as much as possible in these battles, but he carries his own, and you'll see how well he does today. So let's go to normal speed, and now we are pushing very aggressively. So I've got my lights leading the way because I want them to obviously kind of screen for my infantry as they get into range. At this point, I noticed, I was like, hey, you know what? By the way, artillery opening fire on his lights, very nice. I noticed that his lights, his skirmishers, sorry, I'm having a brain fart. His skirmishers are kind of far away from anything supporting them. So my cav, unfortunately, was sitting kind of more as a defensive cav force. I wasn't going to be aggressive with them, which I regret. If I had my cav up here, I might have been able to charge these guys, but at the same time, it would have left my artillery open to his cav, so I think it's okay. Anyways, I saw his skirmishers out in the open, and I thought, you know what if I rush up my line infantry here and try to overwhelm them with my musket fire, you know, the line infantry, which obviously you never want your skirmishers stuck fighting line infantry because they will lose. So I kind of have my voltigeurs taking the heat here. They are dropping quickly. They're dropping like flies, which is a bit unfortunate. This guy didn't even get shot, and he's just being very dramatic. He's fake being dead, so he doesn't have to fight. I see. But yeah, we've got my line infantry moving into position, and this is where I misclick, and I told my entire army to shift down here for some reason. I don't know what happened, but it was terrible timing, because now I've got to panic and reform, and I'm losing men very rapidly, extremely rapidly, and I'm trying to form a line, and I'm already losing skirmishers, and you can see how this battle is not going too well. But finally, I have my line infantry in position. The Prussians see, okay, yeah, I need to push up and help my skirmishers, so he is pushing up his massive musketeer line. And I have some of my lights in the little town here, kind of getting a good flanking position. I'm rushing up some Fusiliers at the line. Now, as that's going on, we have the British pushing on the Russians, and they have yet to fully engage. Artillery is hitting them pretty hard. So they're just kind of exchanging artillery hits and whatnot. The Russian cav is starting to make a move, it looks like. They're kind of advancing forward. But so far, it's looking pretty promising. Now, back over here in this firefight, it is ferocious, guys. Yeah, it's pretty intense. I was a little disappointed with how slowly I was killing the Jaegers. And look, at his line infantry is not even engaging me. So I was like, okay, this is good, but at the same time, my lights over here are getting canistered. I'm now getting charged. That was a good move by Prussia. Kind of left my lights on this flank unprotected, so I'm trying to get them out of there. You can see I'm running both of them. I'm now pushing up my cav. Again, playing defensive here. Playing defensive. And now they're pushing up to try to stop the voltigeurs from completely shattering, but unfortunately they do, and they will not return to the battlefield. And he's going to go ahead and disengage, which is very smart of him. Again, still fighting over here, and I couldn't believe it. Look at this. My Fusiliers in the line lost. They lost these Prussian Fusiliers. So I realized, okay, actually, some of these are Prussian Fusiliers. They're not all just Jaegers, because you can see the units of Jaegers are losing pretty effectively. So this battle was not going well. Let me do some slow motion here to kind of explain. Again, I want to kind of give you every small detail of what was going through my head. Which is not much because I'm an idiot. No, I'm just. So I felt like an idiot at this point because I'm like, this is not going well. I'm retreating my cav because, again, my cav is a defensive. I wanted to use him defensively. I didn't want to get stuck in a fight here because I would lose. So I'm falling it back to my Swiss foot, panicked and put him in square. He does a smart thing and not engages. He is using canister shot on my army, so he had really good artillery placement, and they were placed just right to where my artillery couldn't really hit him. So yeah, he did a good job with the artillery. My lines are getting chewed up. This isn't looking good. I'm already moving up my old guard. I'm like, oh my god, like already sending in the old guard. But I look over and I see my ally is doing pretty good. He's kind of taking his time here. He's fighting on what he knows he has the strength in, which is his skirmishers, because the Russians only have 2. So he's outmatched in terms of, I would say the rifle, I don't know the exact stats, but I think the rifles are better than Russian Jaegers. But not only are they better, but they also outnumber them. So he's doing a good job with that. The artillery is constantly peppering down the cav because obviously we're kind of afraid of his cav because he has so much of it. He can do a lot. So he's trying to contain the cav with artillery, and it looks like it's working pretty well. So let's go back to normal speed. So we're falling back here. Fusiliers of the line falling back, and I give up. And honestly, guys, I'm proud of myself because my issue in Napoleon is that I tend to be too aggressive, and I hate giving up like this. I hate having to fall back, but I think this was the right play because there was no winning this. So I was like, okay, you know what? We're going to regroup. We're going to regroup with the old guard. We're going to have them on my right flank. We're going to try to turn this around. We do have one unit who returned from routing, Fusiliers of the line. Good to have them back. So yeah, we're doing good. Now, at the same time, this was a big moment in the battle. At the same time, I saw that Prussia, he's too tunnel vision. He's got tunnel vision on taking this hill and not helping his allies. So I decided to send my 3 units of Swiss foot to run over and support my British ally. And that's exactly what they're going to do. So, and I think he sees it coming, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Whenever you have an opportunity to double team a player, and that player's ally doesn't get there in time, you should always take it. Always take it. It's, defeat in detail, divide and conquer, so to speak, where you take on one army at a time. It definitely works in this game. And you want to overwhelm as much as possible. So there we go. I'm going to reform my line. I can see the Russians are kind of reorganizing to deal with my Swiss foot. And they're just not quite in range, but I really want to get them in range as soon as possible because I want to start really putting the pressure on Russia because my ally is, obviously we want to kill an army before we can move on to the next. Here comes a little charge here. I felt pretty good about this. I was like, okay, I'm just going to engage with both my cav. I outnumber him here. I'm going to form square over here. He thought he'd get me by surprise. Didn't fall for it. I form square and I hold my position. Now, this is where things get a little wild here. I was a little surprised he had another unit of cav come in and help this fight. I was surprised he didn't just run through this little gap here and go for my artillery. There's nothing defending it. He could have gotten it for sure, or even my general. I formed the square over here thinking he would go for my Voltigeurs on the flank, but he doesn't. He goes for the big cav engagement, which I'm fine with because I'm winning. And this is where I get a little annoyed. I don't know what happens here, but my units, let me, again, slow motion, look at my units. I told them to attack this cav unit, and they just wouldn't do it. It was almost as if they were escorting this unit towards my artillery. I honestly didn't even think to turn on canister because I thought my cav had this under control. I turned on canister there, but what? I just shot the back of my ally's foot unit. By the way, my Swiss are engaged with the line infantry on this side, so a little side note there. But yeah, look at this. They're not turning in. They're just escorting this unit to my artillery. And I was like, oh, great. They're going to take out my artillery. But thankfully, I still have my 12-pounder. And I do switch to canister with my 12-pounder. Oh, my God, that cannonball. Did you see that? I switched to canister here because I see he still has a cav unit that I'm worried about. Watch this. So I'm keeping these guys pinned down, the hussars. And then here comes this unit. Look at this. He's like, oh, I'm going to get your artillery. Oh, you think you are? You think you're going to get it? Watch this. Boom, boom. Canister. Canister shot, and that causes them to break. And my cav should win this, even though I've got some lancers breaking over here. But that's okay. That's going well because instead of kind of supporting his teammate, he took a gamble and went from artillery. He did get one of my artillery, but that's okay. We're doing okay because the Swiss foot are chewing up this would be the Russians' left flank. We're chewing them up. We're chewing him up, and he's doing as best he can. These are Moscow musketeers too. These guys are really good. That's why they were putting up such an excellent fight. But we outnumber him on this flank. And look at my my British ally is doing a great job of holding this like ridge line here of the sand dunes, and he's just dominating the Russians. But the Russians are doing a great job of putting up a great fight. Now, he has activated his cav, which makes sense because he is kind of losing the line battle, so he needs to turn it around. So he's going to send in his very deadly cav force. The British... Oh, nice artillery hit here. Let me slow it down. The British were a little too far away with this cav. They were very far back, and he just now orders them to move up. So they're going to be a little late to the show. But he does have some line infantry trying to protect his lights, his rifles. But unfortunately, a lot of the rifles are going to be harassed by the Russian cav. The artillery, though, has been ruthless. Oh, my God. Such a beautiful game. So cinematic. All right, so let's see what's going on. Again, slow motion over here, trying to explain everything that's going on. So this is where I make a push again because I see that my ally is doing very well, and I thought, you know what? Let's keep the Prussians contained. Let's make sure the Prussians don't send any reinforcements here. So this is where I push up, and guys, this is where the old guard do an amazing job. Look at this. They get up in formation. Once again, I'm in range of the lights for my line infantry. His line infantry is not in range, so he's just kind of watching me shoot his lights with my line infantry. I'm going to go ahead and move up my Voltigeurs again because I want my old guard to get in position. Look at these Chads right here. Just look at them. Oh my God. The old guard. So they're going to move up. I really hope they make another Napoleon and do a little bit better job with the character models. I mean, they're cool, but they all look the same. Like, it would have been cool to see the old guard kind of be older gentlemen, you know, more grays in the hair. They're taller, you know, bigger men. And there we go. We are pushing. We just eliminate those skirmishers, those lights. So it's going pretty well. I'm keeping the Prussians contained. I'm winning over here against Russia. And I'm going to go ahead and push on the Russian flank and just keep overwhelming the Russian lines. I did send over what was left of my cav to help out the British. And it looks like, thanks to the British infantry and the British cav, we were able to stop the Russian cav. Now, they still have some cav units over here harassing the rifles. So they are doing what they can to try to stop the rifle troops, the skirmishers. And here we go. Finally, we've got line versus line. And oh, you don't cross paths with the old guard. Love these guys. Now, it does say they're losing, which is kind of surprising. Actually, they're in range, right? So we got the Fusiliers on the flank here. There we go. God, and as soon as they open fire, they just start slaughtering these musketeers. Look at their point of view. Terrifying. But he's got the tree line a little bit in the center, so yeah, he's doing a good job. He's trying to hold against my forces, but that French infantry is so strong. It's going to be tough for him. Let's go back over here where he actually charges my Swiss foot. We kind of missed it. What happened over here is that his unit was like right here, and he charged me, but I was up on the ridge line, and I was just shooting him. All these troops right here is his unit getting shot as they push forward. So that kind of gave my Swiss foot the advantage here against the musketeers. And even though the Russians are very good in melee, they suffered so many casualties that my unit has the edge over his. So it's looking pretty good. I think Russia is on the verge of collapse. Here comes the British going in with the light dragoon charge on the 12-pounder foot artillery. He's trying to unlimber it, but it's too late. Now back over here, I've got the Prussians right where I want them. You can see the Old Guard has been carving out this entire flank. So right now, what I'm going to do is focus on killing this last stubborn musketeer unit on this flank in front of me. And then I'm going to fold my line on the Prussians. Now, this was pretty smart over here by the Prussians. He finally pushed up his elite reserve with a foot guard in the 8th Life Regiment. Because what I did is, obviously you can see the Swiss foot, the 2 units are now over here because he started to try to overextend my line here. So I decided to send the Swiss foot back over to this fight. I've got him surrounded a little bit, and now he's counter flanking, and I'm going to go ahead and push up my 3rd unit of Swiss foot to try to counter flank that flank. Now I do change up the positioning here of my Swiss foot to make sure I can kind of watch both angles. Let's go back to normal speed, where the Old Guard are still trying to kill the stubborn musketeers. Stubborn musketeers. And you can see I kind of angled my Old Guard here to really focus on this unit because we need them dead. Now he is starting to break my lines here, so I'm in a little bit of a pickle. So I formed square just to try to get a decent angle. I want this to be the kind of the anchor point of my lines, because what I'm going to do is as soon as I kill him, and there we go, I finally killed those musketeers, I'm going to quickly shift my Old Guard, and I'm going to make an L right here. So an L shape, and I'm going to start shooting into these Prussian musketeers. Over here, I kind of did the same thing, but I'm moving them now, forming a better line. Unfortunately, my Swiss foot, I wasn't paying attention. They're just running right in front of the 8th Life Regiment. It's like a tongue twister for me. So the Swiss foot, they're going to kind of hide in the tree line and do the best they can. Honestly, at this point, I am waiting for my British ally to show up and just destroy Prussia with the extra numbers. And there we go. Now I'm kind of forming a new line as he continues to chew down this line, unfortunately. But that's okay, because I'm sending in the Old Guard. Bayonet mode, baby. So yeah, they're going to move up, and they're going to just give them the cold steel. Look at the officer. Look at him. He's just like body slammed people. There he is. Look at this guy go. He's like, the Old Guard. Oh, but he's back up almost instantly. What a Chad. Look at him. He's like, feel the might of the Old Guard. Anyways, yeah, we are fighting hard over there. He sends in, is this my other Old Guard? Yeah, this is my other Old Guard. Unfortunately, they get canistered pretty hard. I was hoping the artillery wouldn't have an angle on me, but I'm trying to quickly kill these musketeers who return from routing. So what I do is just panic here because I don't want them to get shot by canister again. So I move them forward to really make the angle awkward, and unfortunately, it's just too late there, too slow, and I lost like 10 guys there. That was pretty sad. I'm getting double teamed. My only choice here with this Old Guard is just charge and pray. Over on this side, we are breaking their lines. Look at this. We got Fusiliers and Old Guard fighting together, shoulder to shoulder, taking on the Musketeers of Prussia. Back over this way, you can see my Old Guard's morale went back up because they do enjoy fighting. They enjoy getting their hands dirty. And we do break a unit there. The canister shot is going off again. He's risking his own men to try to kill my Old Guard. So instead of charging forward, I decide not to do that.
Our men are running, sir.
Yeah, so the Old Guard win here. And what I'm going to do, let's slow it down again. I'm going to start moving these 2 units around here to start harassing the backside of this hill defense he's got going on against my British ally. Over on this side, I'm just not going to worry about fighting over here because I feel like I just don't have enough men to deal with this. So my artillery, what I'm going to do with the artillery is actually turn it and face the aim at the foot guards here, because this is kind of a perfect angle where I could kill a bunch of them if the cannonball hits just right. I do have some units in the back here who return from routing as well. I didn't even realize Swiss foot. They need to get back into the fight. So let's go back to normal speed and see how this ends. It still could be anyone's game. All it takes is a good canister shot to kill my troops, and he could turn it around. Now, I do have a unit of Fusiliers firing at his 12-pounder, trying to get rid of it from afar, but I knew at any moment he was going to turn his guns and switch to canister shot and probably take out this unit. So what do? I shift to the right just to make it more difficult. I go for a charge because these guys are already losing morale. So I'm like, you know what? We charge in. We could break them. Here comes a very sneaky cav charge from the British going after the Prussian general. So that was a great move there. General was not being defended. And there goes canister shot. He's going after, unfortunately, he's going after my lines here. I was trying to move these guys up to quickly kill the Prussian Fusiliers and then kind of turn and face the line infantry over here. I think at this point, I do tell my artillery to... right here. I tell my artillery to start opening fire at the lines. I think I did get a couple good hits on them. I'm pretty sure I did. But, let's see. Oh, yeah. There it is. There it is. Yeah, that's just... that sucks. That sucks for him. Canister shot killing his own men. Causes them to break. We got a general down. So that was the Prussian general. We have the Russian general now charging in. He's trying to do as much as he can. I tell my old guard to form the tiniest square. It's the most adorable square. And he decides to go after, I think, my general? I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish here. I think he's just looking for whatever unit he can kill. But yeah, the Prussians are now breaking. The Russians are on the verge of defeat. And that, guys, is going to conclude this battle. Here we go. Finally, the artillery is taken out. He did a good job with the canister shot. But I think the reason we won this battle, and by the way, guys, there's two, each matchup is 2 battles. The second battle is even better than this one. So stay tuned. Obviously, it'll come out a couple days later. If you enjoyed this battle, of course, give it a like and a share and everything like that. But the reason I think we won is because when Prussia had tunnel vision and he was just more worried about protecting this hill in this small town, I sent over my 3 units of Swiss foot, and I think that was kind of the turning point where me and my ally could double team the Russians, and we did enough damage to the Russians before the Prussians could react. And then, of course, even though Prussia was on the verge of killing my entire army, we have a very healthy, relatively speaking, at the time of the battle, British army that was showing up as reserves, as reinforcements. So that was awesome. Great job to everyone who played. It was a hell of a fight. I really, really enjoyed it. I know Russia here maybe didn't get the most of kills, but again, he had a tough situation. He did his best. He got double teamed there a little bit, but again, both really, they both did a really great job. Looking at the most kills, no surprise, the old guard both getting over 220 kills. So that was awesome. The Swiss foot also did very well, which is no surprise there. My artillery did okay. 4 kills with my 8-pounder. Jeez, it was almost a waste of money. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That is going to conclude this battle. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed playing it and commentating on it. I do appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys next time on the battlefield.